Paper Sharps. Once again, recording for the Feed Me Pixels sleet. It has been a couple of months since my last report, and it seems this planet has even more secrets I have not discovered yet. I found a cold underground icy fortress, which froze my balls off, to be honest. As I passed through it, I couldn't help but notice some kind of creatures were looking at me from the distance. Every time I got closer, they seemed to disappear. Paper Sharps, checking in. It's been 2 hours, and it's getting colder. I found a couple of buttons in some sort of ceremonial chambers. In the distance a door opened, but I also started to hear howling. What's going on here? Paper Sharps here. I think I found the exit. So cold. Need sleep. That statue's eyes, following my steps. Howling didn't stop. Paper Sharps checking in again. I did find the exit, and I found a safe place to rest. The room once again had a water basin and a bowl of alien stew. Strangely enough, the stew tasted like KFC. Is Colonel Sanders behind all of this? Let's head up to the surface. Looking in the distance, there seems to be a construction what looks like a windmill. Paper Sharps here. It's been 60 minutes since I resurfaced, and the howling increased. Something seems to be in the windmill. I found some stone tablets describing the lives of some long-lost tribes as well. I guess there's no choice for me other than to head over to the windmill and see what's lurking there.
If you missed my preview on this game, I'll just wait here until you've clicked this link and then we'll continue on. What are you still doing here? Click that link. Done? Great, let's continue. You know sometimes how games can make you feel things that make up for gameplay lacking in depth? Back when I was a kid, I played the shit out of the Spyro the Dragon games. But now I'm looking back at a Let's Play of Jacksepticeye and it hit me how shitty the controls and camera really were. Were we that forgiving as a kid? Or was there something else that caught our eye whilst we were playing these games? The same idea seems to apply to the Solus Project, a single-player survival game with linear story progression. You play as Octavius Sken, and you're set on an unknown planet called Gileas, where you are the sole survivor of a human expedition to save mankind. Although the game boasts a variety of gameplay elements such as survival aspects, including hunger, thirst and sleep, ultimately the game feels like one of those walking simulators. There is a teleporter disc thrower thingamajig which you can play around with to reach higher places, but the reach is not that great and the discs often bounce off surfaces you're trying to reach. Other than walking and surviving, you are left with traversing areas, collecting items to build stuff, solving puzzles and opening doors with keys. There's no combat whatsoever, although I did not really mind that at all. 8 hours later, I was baffled how this game kept me going, despite the somewhat clunky controls. The main issue with the controls is not so much that they completely suck, it's more that they are very tight, slow and sometimes unresponsive. Jumping has not a lot of reach, sprinting feels like one of those dreams where you think you are running but in reality you keep on walking slowly, and the fall damage is still a little bit exaggerated, although it has been improved upon since earlier versions. Just like Spyro the Dragon, there's more to this game that keeps you playing. The setting of being a sole survivor in an unknown and desolate horror-esque place might be used a lot, but the Solus Project executes its setting so incredibly well through atmosphere that it quickly becomes better than most other games using the same premise. Exploring Gileas as Octavius Sken, there's a constant threat of natural disaster that looms over your head on the surface. There are meteor showers, thunderstorms, hurricanes, even earthquakes that happen on an hourly basis, making you run for your life and hide like the little bitch you are in a corner. Scary and ominous soundtrack combined with your screen shaking as 3 hurricanes pass over finishes the whole piss your pants package, and it's truly unique in a let's head over to Eastern Asia and experience a tsunami kind of way. When you head on the ground, the atmosphere feels dense, mysterious, eerie, with many clues spread around the underground that may be some other kind of civilization came before here. Spoiler alert, of course it did. Distant howling, weird alien noises and a soundtrack that just wants you to soil your trousers finishes the whole scary package of survival and being alone and that sort of thing. You run into stone tablets portraying an old cult, temples which feel Mayan in style, and skeletons everywhere with weird head forms. Walking on the ground keeps you constantly on edge, waiting to be jumped by something. This whole lost civilization thing gives you the feeling of being an explorer besides a survivor. The style of the game is quite an interesting blend of Alien meets Indiana Jones in that sense. which would be a weird crossover movie now that I think about it. Anywho, despite the awesome atmosphere, which made me feel like I was on Ilios and Mass Effect 1 sometimes, I know some of you remember that mission, god I love that game, the ending was somewhat of a bummer to me. I might say I hated the ending even. I'll try my best to stay spoiler free, but for those of you who want zero spoilers, I suggest to you to click on this annotation to skip to the overall conclusion. The ending took all of the mystery of the journey, all of the suspense, and just slapped it around your face with nothing. You explore the planet for around 15 to 20 hours with clunky controls and you end up making jack shit of a difference. It gave me PTSD flashbacks of the ending of Mass Effect 3. Besides that, the whole story of the ancient civilization and the Sky One's aliens is left mostly open to interpretation, which might have worked if the game did not boast so many stupid horror elements woven throughout the game which make things feel inconsistent. Because at the time it felt cool to see scary dolls follow you around or be chased by dark cloud spirits, but in the end they felt redundant and weird in the overall scheme of the game. There are lots and lots of loose story threads, but in the end they fail to form a coherent story that sticks in your memory, which you can easily recall and remember. It might all very well be consistent and there might be an explanation for all the questions that lingered in my head, but too many questions for me means that there's a disconnect between the artist's vision and the audience's reaction. Overall, I would say that the Solus Project had many ambitions and certainly had a lot of potential, but the lack of smooth controls means you're focusing on the overall atmosphere and story, and the lack of interesting and varied gameplay reinforces that even more, so we're left with an amazing sci-fi Mass Effect-like atmosphere and strong environmental storytelling reminiscent of Bioshock, but in the end they don't quite manage to wrap things up with the right bang. I didn't need a happy ending per se, but the open-ended nature combined with the dark twist at the end just made me feel like I wasted 15 plus hours of my game time. That's not quite as devastating as 300 plus hours in Mass Effect 3 of course, but if there's one lesson to be learned from games like these, it's that a gamer values his time and wants that to be recognized in the end as well, even if the ending is dark in nature. In the end, the Solus Project gets a 6 out of 10 from me. What is up, Pixels and Pixelheads? If you've enjoyed this review, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to leave a comment, cause we love your faces. And if you want to win this game for yourself, please check the giveaway link in the description, as there is one key we will be giving away if you enter the giveaway link. Bye bye!